Hello friends, welcome. This is the third video on the types of bill of ladings related to shipping. As you can see from this content list, in video 1 and video 2 below, I've already finished these bill of ladings. The link to these videos can be found in the description. And in this video 3, the section on top of the slide, you can see the different bill of ladings which will be discussed along with the time slot. So let's get started. Long form bill of lading. The term long form bill of lading is a reference to an ordinary, usually negotiable bill of lading. As mentioned before, the face of the bill of lading, page 1, has boxes or spaces for necessary details referring to the shipper, vessel, port of loading, freight detail, and charges, etc., which have to be properly typed. And the back of the bill of lading, page 2, has numerous printed clauses giving the condition of carriage. And comparing this with the short form bill of lading, a bill of lading normally evidences as underlying contract of carriage and hence may not have the full details of the contract of carriage on the BL and merely state the name of the shipper, name of the ship, date of shipment, etc. For full detail, another document may be cited for being referred to. The number of packages description are also stated in this document. So basically, if all the details of the condition of carriage are included in the bill of lading, that's called the long form bill of lading. And if only reference is made, it's called the short form bill of lading. Next is straight bill of lading. This is typically used when shipping to a customer. The straight bill of lading is for shipping items that have already been paid for. The straight bill of lading is specified to a particular party and the specified party cannot reassign it to anyone else. The party only has to take delivery of the cargo, and the cargo cannot be sold by transferring the bill of lading to another party's name. Next is to order bill of lading, and this is used for shipments when payment is not made in advance. This can be shipping to one of your distributors or a customer on terms. This is the bill of lading that one would mostly come across on board. The bill of lading is to the consignee or to his order. That is, the named consignee will be the owner of the cargo, or he can order the shipment to be delivered to another party by endorsing the bill of lading to that party. So comparing these two, in straight bill of lading, the consignee is fixed and it cannot be endorsed to someone else. And in two order bill of lading, there is an option of endorsing it to someone else. Next is inland bill of lading. As the name itself suggests, this will allow the shipping carrier to ship cargo by road or rail across domestic land but not overseas. Next is ocean bill of lading. And ocean bill of lading allows the shipper to transport the cargo overseas, nationally or internationally. In this kind of bill of lading, carrier's responsibility starts at the port of loading and ends at the port of discharge. Next is transshipment bill of lading. This type is issued usually by shipping companies when there is no direct service between two ports, but when the ship owner is prepared to transship the cargo at an intermediate port at his expense. Transshipment bill of lading can be compared with that direct bill of lading, in which there is no transshipment port in between. The next is groupage bill of lading. Forwarding agents are permitted to group together particular compatible consignments from individual consignors to various consignees, situated usually in the same destination country area, and dispatch them as one consignment. The ship owner will issue one groupage bill of lading, while the forwarding agent, who cannot hand to his principals the ship owner's bill of lading, will issue to individual shippers a certificate of shipment, sometimes called house bill of lading. At the destination, another agent working in close liaison with the agent forwarding the cargo will break the bulk and consignment and distribute the goods to various consignees. This practice is on the increase, usually involving the use of containers and particularly evident in the continental trade and deep sea container services. It will doubtless increase with containerization development and is ideal to the shipper who has small quantities of goods available for export. Advantage of groupage includes less packing, lower insurance premium, Usually quicker transits, less risk of damage and pilferage, and lower rates when compared with such cargo being dispatched as an individual parcel or consignment. Next is bearer's bill of lading. The bearer's bill of lading is one in which the bearer of the bill of lading is the owner of the cargo, and there is no consignee named on the bill of lading. This kind of bill of lading is very seldom found as there is a huge risk involved in the misuse of this kind of bill of lading. Next type is Hitchment bill of lading. The Hitchment bill of lading is a document which allows loading of shipments to occur in multiple segments at more than one loading point or port. For example, if you're trying to ship a large load of goods and you may want to load that in two or more ports, then a Hitchment bill of lading would allow you to do that. So you can take advantage of loading multiple components manufactured in separate areas for the same delivery location with this document. Next, I would like to discuss the intermodal bill of lading, which can be compared with the multimodal. Intermodal is one where your cargo moves from the origin to the destination point using several modes of transportation, each of which relies upon different transport carriers with an independent contract. If you have a shipment that over the course of a single journey will fall into the hand of multiple carriers, you will have several contracts if each carrier that handles require an intermodal bill of lading. As the shipper, an advantage to this is the ability to choose which carrier to use in order to capitalize upon the cheapest rates for each leg of transportation. And comparing it with the multimodal or combined transport bill of lading, as discussed earlier, in multimodal, there is a movement of cargo from the point of origin to destination by way of several modes of transport. However, in this situation, each mode of transport may have a different carrier, but everything is under the same bill of lading, which basically means that in multimodal bill of lading, there may be various modes of transport, but there will be only one carrier who is responsible. I hope I have covered all different kinds of bill of lading. If you think I've missed any, then please do let me know. And if you have any feedback, suggestion, or comment, then please do write down below. All the best for your exams, and as always, thank you for watching.